The ladies in the house now in studio, Debra Jones and Dr. Sabina DeVita. Please, if you have any questions for the panel, please feel free to call us at 905-595-LIVE. All right, ladies, energy medicine. I want to feel your energy.
Hey, we're here.
All right, talk to me. What is the energy system from your perspective? Somebody take the question.
Well, you go ahead, Debra.
Energy, well, I'm a Reiki master.
Okay, what does that mean?
Reiki master, I channel more of that chi energy into the body so that it's got more to use.
Okay.
I'm also a chakra balancing practitioner, so I check for energetic disturbances in the energy system, and I can use movement to unblock any flow and create a better flow in the 7 major chakras in the body. Mm-hmm. And I'm also an axonal realignment practitioner, and that's to help you move forward rapidly in your life and connect you more to source.
So do you see energy? Do you when you're looking at me, are you seeing stuff? Like, do I need to know something?
Well, I don't see energy with my eyes,
okay,
but I do feel energy when I'm using my hands, and I'll scan your body and I'll find energy areas that are depleted or excess, and then I'll use energy movement to balance that.
Mm-hmm. And so you believe in intuition then?
Yeah,
yeah,
we all have it.
Absolutely. And the reason I asked that question, because there was a huge study by Princeton University. They did the Global Consciousness Project. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, where they took 40 computers, devices, and put them all over the planet, and it fed back into Princeton University, and they were measuring our field of consciousness. Everybody. Mm-hmm. So on most days, the readout would be just like this, like, because everyone's humming along. You know, I'm in my stuff, you're in your stuff, so not much is going on. The unfortunate event of 9/11, okay, it peaked up because everyone in the world was focused on the 9/11, you know, the tragedy of 9/11. But what was really interesting about this research was that the day before 9/11 happened, on this consciousness project, it peaked. The entire world knew something was going to happen. That's how they interpret the data. So yes, I believe we are all intuitive, and that research project absolutely proves it. So in terms of the field, you pick it up intuitively, and Sabina, you have a camera that actually shows the field. So do you want to talk about?
I would love to.
Matter of fact,
we'll be able to
show
the
camera up later.
Yeah, we will, because I do have it here. It's a nice little portable unit.
Okay.
And what I love about it is actually a tool. It's a technique. It's a technology that was developed in Russia. Mm-hmm. In St. Petersburg, Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, who developed this, and his main mission was to actually combine spirituality with science.
Nice. And that's where we're going. Everything's converging.
It is.
Yeah.
And so it's the very first time that we actually have an instrument that truly measures energy systems.
Okay, so let's put up a case study.
Absolutely.
The abuse study, it's a GDV photo, and it's going to be
yes, it is.
It's sexual abuse?
Yes, this was a sexual abuse case. And actually, in the picture, from the side view, one can see quite an opening. It's quite a wide gap. And now actually it shows on both profiles. But in particular, this was a case of a woman who actually knew about her sexual abuse, and she had done a lot of therapy, psychotherapy, emotional work, etc. And this is years later, and yet it still showed up in her field.
Okay.
So deep within her subconscious,
so healing,
this was still an issue.
Yeah, so healing is like an onion. There's layers and layers and layers that we need to peel through in order to finally get the root of it.
Absolutely.
Right? That's what you're saying.
I am saying that. And so for her, what we did was, of course, bring it into her full awareness. Because really, truly, when we're talking about consciousness and this whole shift in energy, it is about awareness. That's the first step. And what I love about this technology is that it's a way for people to actually see the mirror in front of them.
Sure.
It's an awareness tool.
Yeah.
I refer to it as their awareness mirror.
Absolutely.
So she did get to see it. She was quite surprised. And then I initiated a series of aromatic oils that she was inhaling and also applying on specific locations on her body, which we'll refer to as the chakra centers. And what happened at that point is a tremendous shift.
So you used oils to patch up her energy field?
Well, it was to actually stimulate a healing response within her own body. Right. And so, because the oils have a way of truly transmitting information via the limbic, through the limbic system, directly to the emotional center. That's what I love about the oils. They're direct.
And
They're
Debra,
direct.
you use crystals to help with energy healing.
Yep.
How do you use the crystals? I'm going to get back to you in
Sure.
just a moment. I just want to know about these crystals because they're sitting right here and they're beautiful.
They all have different energies and different purposes. And my favorite one, which I didn't put out on the table right now, is actually a smoky quartz point. Yeah. And when I find that the energy is very heavy or stuck or dense in a body system, I'll put that between their ankles and it'll pull the energy out. The crystal will pull that energy out and direct it into the ground.
So someone like Sabina has this case that we're talking about from sexual abuse, you would use the crystals to pull out that what?
There's negative energy or heavy energy, and I don't even need to know exactly what that is from. I just sense an energy that needs to leave, that is not in their highest good to stay there.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
And what actually is wonderful with what Debra is saying
Yeah.
is we have the way to actually see that happening. So the technology that I've been talking about with it's called, by the way, gas discharge visualization bioelectrography Kirlian camera. So I know it's a long name. Right. But what the beauty is that we can literally look at a before and after no matter what type of healing, be it acupuncture, be it crystals, hands-on healing, Reiki, the essential oils, which I mentioned earlier. It will show us the changes.
So the photo that you had put up, the one that we had on the abuse, was that just the psychological field? Because I know our human, our field, we have the psychological, we have the emotional, we have the mental, we have the spiritual, we have all these layers on our auric field. So what field was that you were looking at?
Well, actually, in her case, there were two major aspects within her field, and I know we don't have the picture perhaps in front of people at this point.
Which picture?
The one where
we can put it back up.
No, please, that would be helpful.
We're going to put back up the abuse
because it basically shows a real wide gap, as you
Yeah.
can see. And what I'm looking at are the colors of distribution in the field.
Okay.
There are basically 4 colors that we look at: the blue,
Yeah.
the yellow, the reddish, and the purplish. And they literally mean the emotional, the spiritual, and mental.
So this went right through her field.
Correct.
You could see.
She had it on all levels.
So if she didn't heal this issue, this emotional issue and this trauma, what would result?
Well, oftentimes...
Are we looking at disease now?
Absolutely.
So do emotions...
It's stagnant chi.
It's stagnant chi, right. So the
it's not moving.
the emotional trauma comes before the disease.
Correct.
Okay.
That pretty well summarizes it.
Yeah.
So basically the idea of this is to bring it into awareness for someone to see it, and from that we can now initiate their own healing response. So with all of what we're doing, we're helping the body, we're facilitating the body to heal itself.
Yeah, and what do you think about that?
That's exactly it. I mean, once they're aware, once the client is aware that there's something that needs work, whether it's visual proof or just feeling energy leaving and knowing there was something there.
Yeah.
As long as they're aware that there's something happening, then they can work with that.
Now, this often comes up. People are afraid to deal with their stuff. Ladies, I know many people who say, yeah, I know I have these issues, and in childhood, and this happened, and that happened, but you know what? I'm moving forward in my life, and it's there. But meanwhile, they're showing signs of physical, degeneration in certain areas, and but still, that's not enough for them. They don't want to deal with the stuff. So do you see that in your practice?
I do see that, and the
what
way
would be your message to people?
Well, the way that I combat that is I create a safe space in which they can explore that for themselves. So the healing can bring up emotions. The healing can have them see what's going on in their life. And as they see the shifting, or as they do release some of that energy, and then they see the change in their life. Like I tell them to look and see how you're dealing with things. If you're dealing with things differently, then you know that you're on a healing path. And usually there's a different reaction to the same situation.
Yeah, and it's bringing up their emotional IQ, really.
Now my message too, to add to that, is simply this, that it takes a lot more energy to actually suppress the issue.
Thank you for saying that.
This is what's so alarming.
Yeah.
It's actually...
They don't realize that.
Exactly. And there are so many, what I like to term it as, elegant ways of releasing. And it is not the old traditional style of the Freudian psychoanalysis type therapy. This can be done in a matter of hours, and it's done. Energy shifts. It's that fast.
So somebody with inner child issues, I know you use oil, so how does that work? How can you just give someone an oil and they smell it and, you know, they're healed?
Well, the beauty about any oil is to understand how we work anatomically. The most direct sense of all the senses to the subconscious is through here,
Smell, yeah.
is smell.
Yeah.
So
It's 10,000 times more powerful than any
that's
other.
correct. And many people have memories of walking into a room and maybe smelling something like baked cookies or bread, and all of a sudden thinking of a childhood memory, because that's how fast it is.
So it brings up the memory, but then what? They have to process that somehow.
That's the beauty about the oils, because as soon as that memory is brought into visual focus, the body will initiate and move that energy and healing on its own. It's not the old traditional style.
Is that what you're finding in your practice?
Definitely. It's not hard work anymore. It's easy. It's fast.
It's fast and easier.
Yeah.
So
It
it's
is.
costing people less money then?
Well, and the beauty is they can smell nice at the same time.
And it's toxic free.
And that's
There you
toxic
go.
free, which is another reason that I love using them so much, because not only are they able to heal themselves, but they are also able to use it, because one of my projects, as I mentioned to you earlier, is in the environment and how to use it in the home for cleaning.
Using the oils.
Using the oils. And at the same time, while they're cleaning their refrigerator or their countertop, they're actually helping themselves to heal.
Right, and it's lifting their vibration.
Correct.
And it's clearing their space energetically, because there's a lot of things hanging out in the space that
Exactly.
we probably won't talk about today. That would be a whole other show.
It is another show. I certainly would love to talk about it. I certainly have a lot of passion for what's happening to the environment. So.
This is really interesting. There's so much research about, you know, energy medicine. Dr. Harold Saxton Burr, Yale University, he did
Yes.
research way back when, looked at tiny seedlings and energetically mapped the adult plant from the seed, showing the developmental template that we grow into. And he did that with fish as well. And so we have this energetic template, you know, which really, biologists always struggle to explain what keeps our skin together. Well, it's our energetic template.
Correct.
Right? There's grids, if people could see it.
Yeah, that's true. And the beauty is, again, coming back to the Kirlian, that the bioelectrography photographs that we take, we can actually see, and I refer to it as their template. It's a
You know,
blueprint.
Sabina, we're going to hold that thought. We need to take a quick break, and we'll be back on Health Matters. More with Sabina and Debra and Energy Medicine.
The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers or Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Health Matters. Viewers, if you have any questions for my panel, please feel free to call in 905-595-LIVE. We're talking about energy medicine here with Dr. Sabina DeVita and Debra Jones. All right, Debra, what's the energy you work with?
I work with universal energy.
Okay, that's a big word.
Also known as chi.